The global aerospace industry finds itself caught in the crossfire of a burgeoning trade war as major economies clash over market dominance and fair competition. What was once a highly interconnected network of suppliers, manufacturers, and airlines is now facing new barriers and uncertainty. The United States, in an effort to protect domestic industries and address perceived unfair trade practices, has imposed tariffs on aircraft and aerospace components from several countries. These measures are part of a broader strategy to rebalance trade relationships and respond to what U.S. officials describe as years of disadvantage for American companies. These tariffs, primarily targeting European aerospace giant Airbus and Chinese manufacturers, have ignited tensions and sparked retaliatory measures from affected nations. The move has not only strained diplomatic relations, but also disrupted long-standing supply chains that are vital to the aerospace sector. The United States imposed a 10% tariff on Airbus aircraft, with the possibility of increasing it to 25%. This escalation has forced airlines and leasing companies to reconsider their purchasing decisions, potentially driving up costs for both businesses and consumers. This action stems from a long-standing dispute at the World Trade Organization over government subsidies provided to Airbus. The WTO has ruled that both Airbus and its American rival Boeing have received illegal support, fueling a cycle of complaints and countermeasures. The United States argues that these subsidies give Airbus an unfair advantage in the global market, allowing it to undercut competitors and secure lucrative contracts. This, according to U.S. officials, undermines the principles of free and fair trade. Beyond Airbus, the United States has also targeted China with tariffs on a wide range of goods, including aerospace components. The aim is to pressure China to change its trade practices and open its markets to foreign competition. These tariffs, reaching as high as 145%, reflect broader trade tensions between the two economic superpowers. The impact is felt not only in aerospace, but across multiple industries, as companies grapple with higher costs and shifting supply chains. The United States cites concerns about intellectual property theft, forced technology transfer, and China's state-led industrial policies. These issues have become central points of contention, with American officials demanding stronger protections for innovation and fairer market access. While the United States asserts that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and businesses, they have been met with strong opposition from trading partners. Critics argue that such measures risk sparking a cycle of retaliation, ultimately harming global growth and cooperation. The situation has created uncertainty in the aerospace industry, impacting airlines, manufacturers, and the global economy. As trade tensions escalate, the future of international collaboration and the stability of the aerospace sector hang in the balance. The European Union and China have wasted no time in responding to the United States tariffs. As soon as the new measures were announced, both powers began crafting their own strategies to counteract the impact and send a clear message to Washington. Both have implemented retaliatory measures targeting American goods and companies. These actions are not just symbolic, they are designed to hit key sectors of the U.S. economy and demonstrate that neither the EU nor China will back down easily. This tit-for-tat exchange has escalated tensions and raised concerns about a full-blown trade war. Global markets have responded with volatility, and businesses around the world are bracing for further disruptions. The European Union, in retaliation for the tariffs on Airbus aircraft, has imposed its own tariffs on a range of United States goods. EU leaders have emphasized that their response is measured but firm, aiming to protect European industries and jobs. These tariffs, worth up to 21 billion euros, target products such as fruit juice, motorcycles, steel, and soybeans. The selection of these goods is strategic, focusing on industries that are politically and economically significant in the United States. The European Union has implemented these tariffs in phases, leaving room for negotiation and de-escalation. EU officials have stated that they remain open to dialogue, but will not hesitate to escalate if necessary. China, facing tariffs on a broader range of goods, has taken a more aggressive approach. The Chinese government has signaled its willingness to use every tool at its disposal to protect its economic interests. The Chinese government has ordered its airlines to suspend deliveries of Boeing jets, a significant blow to the American aerospace giant. This move not only affects Boeing, but also sends a warning to other U.S. companies operating in China. China has also halted purchases of United States aircraft parts, further tightening the pressure on the American aviation sector and its supply chains. In addition, China has raised levies on a wide range of American imports, from agricultural products to high-tech goods, making it more expensive for U.S. companies to do business in the Chinese market. These retaliatory measures reflect the seriousness with which both the European Union and China view the United States tariffs. Their coordinated responses highlight a growing willingness to challenge U.S. trade policy on the global stage. They are willing to endure economic pain in the short term to defend their interests and deter further protectionist actions. As the standoff continues, the world watches closely, aware that the outcome could reshape the global economic landscape for years to come. Airlines around the world find themselves caught in the middle of this trade war. The tariffs, and the uncertainty they generate, are forcing airlines to make difficult decisions about fleet planning, aircraft purchases, and pricing strategies. Delta Airlines, a major United States carrier, has taken a strong stance against the tariffs. The airline has refused to pay tariffs on its Airbus orders and has indicated it will defer deliveries. Delta is heavily invested in Airbus aircraft, and the tariffs pose a significant financial burden. United Airlines, another major United States airline, has expressed more measured support for the tariffs. However, the airline acknowledges the potential for negative impacts on the industry and the broader economy. United, with a more diversified fleet, is less exposed to the tariffs than Delta. Chinese airlines facing government pressure and the suspension of Boeing deliveries are in a particularly difficult position. They are seeking alternative suppliers and exploring options for financial assistance to mitigate the impact of the tariffs. The situation threatens to disrupt China's ambitious plans for aviation growth. Airbus and Boeing, the world's two largest aircraft manufacturers, are, really grappling with the fallout of the trade war. These industry giants, who have long dominated the skies, now find themselves navigating a landscape that's more unpredictable than ever before. Both companies are feeling the pressure as tariffs, retaliatory measures, and just a whole lot of uncertainty disrupt their businesses. The ripple effects are being felt not just in their home countries, but across the entire global supply chain, impacting suppliers, workers, and even the airlines that depend on their planes. Airbus, while facing tariffs on its aircraft in the United States, is actually benefiting from the strong demand for its products from other airlines around the world. In fact, some carriers are even accelerating their orders with Airbus, hoping to avoid future price hikes or supply disruptions. The company has indicated it will adjust its pricing and production strategies to try and, mitigate the impact of the tariffs. Airbus is also exploring new partnerships and considering shifting more of its manufacturing to regions less affected by the trade dispute in order to stay competitive. Boeing, on the other hand, is facing some pretty significant challenges. The company is not only dealing with the direct consequences of the trade war, but also with a series of internal and external crises that have shaken its reputation. The suspension of orders from China, which is a crucial market for the company, is a major blow. China has historically been one of Boeing's largest customers, and losing access to that market could have long-term consequences for its growth and profitability. Boeing is also dealing with ongoing production issues, regulatory scrutiny, and the fallout from the 737 MAX crisis. These challenges have forced the company to rethink its strategies, invest in safety improvements, and work hard to rebuild trust with both regulators and customers. The trade war has placed both companies in a really precarious position. They're having to make tough decisions about where to invest, how to manage their workforce, and how to keep their supply chains running smoothly. They're caught between their home governments and the need to maintain global market share. Navigating these political and economic tensions requires constant adaptation and a willingness to innovate in the face of adversity. The situation kind of highlights the interconnectedness of the global aerospace industry and the risks of protectionist policies. Ultimately, the choices Airbus and Boeing make now will shape not just their own futures, but the future of air travel worldwide. The ongoing trade war in the aerospace sector is honestly sending shockwaves through the global economy. The tariffs, retaliatory measures, and all this uncertainty are disrupting supply chains, increasing costs, and dampening economic growth. The International Monetary Fund has actually warned that the trade war poses a significant risk to the global economy. The IMF estimates that the tariffs could reduce global GDP growth by up to 0.5%. The organization has urged countries to resolve their differences through negotiation and to avoid any further escalation. The trade war is also undermining the rules-based trading system that's really underpinned global prosperity for decades. The World Trade Organization, the body responsible for regulating international trade, is now facing a crisis of legitimacy as countries increasingly resort to unilateral action. The situation highlights the dangers of protectionism and the importance of international cooperation in addressing trade disputes. A protracted trade war will have far-reaching consequences, harming businesses, consumers, and the global economy.